I'm gonna make something from scratch and talk about where I'm at a little bit. So I've been having a bit of a rough time figuring out like what I'm doing with the channel lately. Because the channel is not a job. But sometimes it kind of feels like one. It definitely feels like an obligation lately. And sometimes that's okay. And job's maybe not the right word. Obligation's not maybe the right word. I've not been feeling super inspired lately. And I want to understand what I'm actually like doing with the channel, what my goals are. You might be asking, well, if the MiniFreak has onboard effects, why are you using the Chroma Console and air stutter and other effects on the MPC One? And to that I say, because I want to. So yeah, I'm definitely like, I've been doing weekly videos for over 5 years now. I think it was like the summer of 2019. And it was really exciting to make videos about gear I was interested in, like the OPZ, and then iPad, and then different synths and groove boxes, and have people actually care about what I was doing at all. And it felt worth dedicating every weekend, maybe not the entirety of every weekend, but a good chunk of every weekend, to making videos that people were watching. And enjoying, it seemed like. I've been lucky to have one of the nicest, most kind, and interested communities and commenters that I'm aware of on YouTube and on the internet. And I don't take that for granted. And it's a huge part of why I don't think I'll ever quit YouTube. And I don't exactly know what I'm doing as far as like, sometimes when you put out a bunch of videos and they get a bunch of views, it can feel really good and you feel like you know what you're doing. And then sometimes you put out a bunch of videos and you get like very few views and you're like, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Do I not know what people want anymore? That can feel a little disheartening. I think when I started out doing YouTube, a huge reason I wanted to do it was to justify and provide for my gear habits. You know, I was buying a lot of gear before I ever had a channel, and I think I wanted a way to pay for that, to subsidize that, to make it not an expense, but like an asset. And I did that. Like a while ago. And once I did that, it was like, well, I should keep up. I should try new things because people want to see new things, and I love playing with new gear. But I think I've alluded to this before on the channel. I don't know if doing all this has been good for me as a musician, at least in totality. There are ways in which it's been really good for me as a musician. Like, I'm getting a lot of practice all the time. Every week, I'm making something or playing something on camera. Especially keys. I'm not like some kind of magical philharmonic pianist or whatever, but I'm way better than I was 5 years ago. But in the last 4 years since I put out my album, There's Something Better, streaming on services worldwide, I've been working on my next album, which I'm calling Float. I'm hoping I'll be done with that album this year. But a big part of why the album's taken so long is because I'm busy with work and I'm busy with the channel. And when I'm not doing one of those two things, I want to just relax and play video games. And so when I do get inspired to work on my album, and I do it in these like fits and starts when it feels right, which is not really how I used to make music. I used to be really driven to make music. And sometimes I wonder if that drive moved here to YouTube. Which is cool, because this is a project that 13,500 people thought interesting was enough to at least throw a subscription my way. Even if, you know, they don't watch all the time, it was enough to be interesting to them. It was interesting enough for 2 million different views of my videos to happen in the last 6 years, which is crazy. And I meet people and I talk to people who have watched my videos and learned something from my videos or been inspired by my videos. And that makes me want to keep going for sure. But then I see all of my favorite creators talk about burnout and how they're not inspired to keep going and the different headaches and pain points that come up. And I feel like I feel those too, but I don't have anywhere near the success it seems like they have. And I don't need YouTube to be a source of income or some popularity contest or a source of negativity in my life. But I want this project that I've been embarking on for the last 5 years to have some substantial meaning for me. Beyond just keep the thing going, don't let it die, don't let it phase out. And one of the things about YouTube for me is that it does take up time on the weekends, and then I work on the weekdays, and it can start to feel kind of like okay, when videos are doing really well and back-to-back videos do really well, or when the iPad video got 100,000 views this year, or when the Steam Deck video did like 35,000, that feels really good. When your last few videos do in the hundreds and you have like 10,000 plus subscribers, that feels weird. Like I don't know what my audience wants and I feel like I'm letting them down. But then I remember it's called YouTube and I should make what I want to make. But then it's like, what do I want to make? And I wrote down a little board of ideas of like things I didn't want to do. They're like new rules for the channel. One of them is take breaks. I never do that. I've made a video every week, almost every week, like a video a week, almost every week for 5 years. And that just generally has meant working on the weekends. Or if I have a plan on the weekends that fills the whole weekend, then trying to like scramble to make a video outside of work hours on the weekdays. The next one is don't be a salesman, which I've never ever tried to be a salesman really when I think about it. Like that was never the goal, but sponsored videos can feel that way. Even just talking about gear, I feel like this really weird balance between wanting to show what I'm excited about and not wanting to ever convince somebody to buy something. Like I would always prefer my videos to be a resource people found if they were already interested in something and just wanted to see how it works or see someone use it. But I don't want to be someone who's convincing people to spend money they weren't going to spend otherwise. That sounds not good to me. The next rule is ignore the algorithm, which is really hard to do, but basically like if I'm not getting a bunch of views, I need to stop paying so much attention to stats. Like it's good if a bunch of videos aren't doing well, then maybe it means people aren't interested. But if, 130 people watched my last video, my interview with my friend Jake, aka Wronghouse, who helped make my last album, that's 130 people who are interested in an hour-long plus conversation about creativity, and that's really cool. It's the same kind of approach I try to have with my music. Like if I only have 20 or 30 listeners a month, that's 20 or 30 people who want to listen to my music, who are giving it a chance or enjoying it, adding it to playlists and adding it to their lives, and that means a lot. I try to remember that. So ignoring the algorithm is really about making sure that my priority isn't trying to juice some numbers that at the end of the day don't really mean anything. Make what I want. That sounds kind of sad because that implies I'm not making what I want. But sometimes I am making videos I think will connect with people and not necessarily like the most creative, interesting thing I can think of. Usually it aligns. I'm not saying I haven't been doing that. It's just a thing to focus on. One of the rules is make what would be helpful. And I'd like to think I've been doing that, but it's just another thing to keep in mind. When I'm making videos, do they have an impact? Is there something that people can take away from it? Does it bring value to people's lives? Are they gonna learn something? Whether that's how to use a piece of gear or just a music or creative process or something about a piece of technology. Make stuff when it feels right. I don't even know how to enable that rule because I'm very desperately worried if I don't post a video every single week, my channel will tank. I feel like I've seen a lot of channels tank when they change their cadence. I could be wrong on that, but it feels like if a creator says I'm quitting when they never really are, if a creator says I'm gonna change from like 4 weeks or every day to way less than that, it tanks. If a creator's like, I'm pivoting everything I'm covering, it tanks. So I've been a big proponent of just doing stuff and not saying I'm gonna do it, just doing it, right? Like if I make a video about tech, I don't make a video before that saying, I'm gonna make videos about tech, I just make a video about tech. And vice versa if I then go make a video about music stuff. But I've always made a video every week. And this isn't me saying I'm not gonna do that necessarily. But I do feel the strain of it. Like, I'm like, how can I be burned out on something I designed around not being burned out on? I only have to make one video a week. Why does that feel like too much sometimes? And I think it's because when like things like Project Pabst, which happened last weekend or the weekend before that, happen and I get excited about them, I then feel this pressure to make and film a video after work on weeknights so that I can go spend a weekend enjoying a music festival. I should give myself the dignity and the bandwidth and relieve some of the pressure, give myself some slack to just take that week off. But I get worried that if I do that, YouTube will stop showing my videos to people. I don't ever want to think that anything I'm putting out there is like fluff or not meaningful or not worth people's time, but I get worried about that being possible, about that being incentivized because I feel like I have to make a video every week and take no breaks. Honestly, sometimes doing this and doing work and then feeling tired after both makes it hard to feel like I can do anything else. I went through a breakup almost 2 years ago, and I just like purposely decided to just stop trying to date anybody after that and focus on work and this and things I felt like I was good at. Because I don't feel like I want the things a lot of people want. I don't want a normal life. But I do want a life. And sometimes I feel like I don't really have one. So I try to focus on hanging out with friends, and that's been helpful, but I do feel like I need to get out in the world and meet more people. And I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, how to meet people. Because I want to meet people like me, who are driven and creative, maybe we're all just hermits hiding inside our houses working on never-ending projects. And I'm so picky and weird about it too. Like, sometimes new people want to hang out and I'm like, no, sorry, I'm too busy. And then I don't really go out of my way to meet people. I've had multiple times in the last few weeks where like I've had an opportunity to get to know somebody new and I just like leave or get weird. I made a video called Getting Existential with the Arturia Lab earlier this year. I think it was like on my birthday or around my birthday in April when I turned 31. And a few people said that was their favorite video I ever made, and that was my favorite video I ever made. And this is kind of the same genre of video. And I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I care if I become a famous musician anymore. I don't know if I care if I build this huge audience. I don't know if the things that I thought would make me happy 10 years ago would actually make me happy. And I feel like I'm running out of time in my life. And I want to finish my album. And I want to build up a life and a group of friends that I'm proud of and happy to have and to be a part of. And when it comes to almost everything I'm doing, except for a few key things, I kind of feel like I'm messing them all up or not doing them right. And I'm really proud of what I built and what I can do and who I am. And I'm really grateful for the fact that anyone cares about any of this. Like, it can be both, right? You can be grateful and you can be sad. You can be happy with the fact you built a thing and burnt out. I don't know. Let's look at the last few rules and then I'll wrap this up. Money doesn't matter. That one's big. The channel sometimes makes 300 in a month. The channel sometimes makes, like, right now it's less than 200 this month because my last few videos have flopped. Sometimes the channel will get a really good month and make like 700 because a video will blow up. It's rare. It's been over a year since that happened, but it was cool. But the fact of the matter is I don't make nearly enough money from this to ever support my life, and my day job is what does that, and having a career is what does that. And I have no intention of not working. I love working. I like working, I really do. And so it doesn't matter if this makes money, but I get so like sad when it makes a little bit and then happy when it makes a little bit more. And it's just like, I can't control it. YouTube feels like a lottery. Like, every video is X amount of work, and that work could be worth $3 an hour or $20 an hour, and I never know. And I try to read it all as like an average. The big videos lift up the small videos. But sometimes focusing on the money can really bum me out. And I get to use gear and I get to keep gear sometimes, and I get free software sometimes, and I'm really grateful for that. Like, that saves me money that I would spend on gear. This MiniFreak was sent by Perfect Circuit. This isn't a sponsored video, but they sponsored a video years ago in exchange for like a discount on the MiniFreak. And that's super cool. I think actually everything, I paid a lot of money. Like, I bought this Chroma Console myself. I bought the MPC One on reverb, and I got like $150 off this. So most of this I paid for, but there's other gear in the studio that was like sent to me by Zounds or different companies, and that's really cool. And I'm grateful for that. But when I focus on that stuff, when I focus on money or views or all that, then I'm happy when things are going good, but I'm like miserable when things feel like they're not going good. When people stop watching as much, when videos don't seem to hit. And they say to like not pay attention to the algorithm and to not pay attention to your stats, but it's hard for me to do that. It's hard for me to hold to that. And I have this other thing, and maybe I shouldn't talk about this on camera, but I do try to like socialize. I do try to hang out with people. And it feels like every other social thing I try to set up cancels on me, which is fine, but I live alone. And so it kind of means like if the only plans I had set up cancel, then I just kind of go back to being more alone. And then I feel like I can't depend on those people to not cancel in the future, and it creates this like bad feedback loop. Anyway, I won't get into that, but all that's to say, I'm not super stoked with 100% of where my life is, and maybe no one is ever, and I have a lot to be grateful for that I am really grateful for. But I'm the kind of person who always wants to make things better. It's like my last album was literally called There's Something Better. Like there's always something better. I can do better. There's more to achieve, whatever. And I really am trying to center myself and be happy with some of the things I've done and the things I've achieved and who I am and all that. I just feel like there's so much more I could be doing. And I don't know if the YouTube channel had 1 million subscribers and every video made tens of thousands of dollars, if I'd feel different. Like, I don't know what would make that right. I just know I don't feel awesome right now. And I figured in the interest of being honest, staying honest, like my tattoo says, and making something that felt real and not worrying about money and not worrying about the algorithm and not trying to make this a job, which is one of the other rules, that I would just make a video like this. And I don't know if I'm gonna make a video every week moving forward. I don't. And I'm definitely not quitting, but I don't know what the future of this channel looks like either. And the fact is I wing it. Like I don't pre-schedule out videos. I make a video every week and then it comes out like a day or two after I film it. Sometimes the day I film it. I don't have some big long-term plan. I achieved all of my long-term goals with the channel, which is a good problem. When I try to write new goals, it's like get more subscribers, get more money, get more stuff, be famous. And it's just like, why? Do I actually want those things? To what end? Like if I was famous, like famous, I couldn't go outside. I couldn't be an introvert. I couldn't have privacy. If I was, do I want the things I thought I wanted? Or do I just want like one really long hug? Jesus. Okay. I'll see you next time. Peace.